1978 Circuit of Ireland, and last year's winner Russell Brooks leads the field away from the Belfast start.
3, 2, 1, go!
Car 4 is Finland's Hannu Mikkola. Now in his 11th year as a works Escort driver, Britain's Roger Clark. And Billy Coleman, hero of all Ireland, is back at the wheel of the Lancia Stratos. The first day, and Brooks is determined to win the circuit again. Coleman completes less than a dozen stages before finally retiring mid-stage with a burnt-out clutch. Mikkola, driving with a sticking throttle, loses more than 10 minutes when he slides over a bank. Also having throttle trouble, Russell Brooks has to operate his car from under the bonnet, whilst co-driver John Brown does the steering. The special stages are meant to be closed to all normal traffic, but this Irish farmer doesn't seem to have got the message, much to the annoyance of Marco Allain in the works Fiat. Roger Clark is holding 5th place after the first night. Brooks is now storming through the field after his early troubles. Pentti Ricola, despite his brake problems, holds 4th place. The village of Kilmacilligy Harbour is typical of the scenic stages of the famous Sunday run through Kerry. Russell Brooks proves unbeatable here and snatches the lead from McRae's Chevette. Allain finds these stages hard work. Although he led the early part of the rally, he now dropped to 3rd. Clark inherits 4th place when Ricola retires, and the English driver now sets out after Allain. Brian Nelson has trouble with an enthusiastic spectator. Brooks now has a commanding lead, but he's obviously feeling the pressure. In his efforts to grab 1st place, teammate Clark gets quicker and quicker. He's fastest on 11 of the last 14 stages. Rally leader for 2 days, Jimmy McRae, also begins to make mistakes. So does John Lyons. Brooks wins from McRae, Allain and Clark.
Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Give him
How do you feel to win it 2 years running?
Oh, absolutely super. I mean, this year's rally was incredibly tough. You know, and even just to get here is very welcoming, but to win it as well is a sort of double pleasure. It really was a very, very tough event. Thanks for coming on.
Back in mainland Britain, 250 miles of Welsh forests await Pentti Ricola's Vauxhall Chevette. A confident Hannu Mikkola leaves the Cardiff start and immediately sets the pace. Russell Brooks is close behind the Flying Finn in his similar Ford Escort. Marco Allain seems intent on redesigning his Fiat.
Marco, I thought you'd like to have those three here.
I know you win. Thank you, Mr. Hinchcliffe. Thank you.
I knocked this in,
in the jumps.
As the rally moves into the magnificent flowing forests of central Wales, Clark begins to catch Allain's Fiat. But it's Mikkola who's totally in control, leading by over 2 minutes. Clark moves up to 2nd, making it a Ford 1-2. Hannu's only problem so far is a missing rear window. Roger is having a tremendous run, setting times that only Mikola can beat. Brooks is trying to make up time after suffering a blown tyre and losing 8 minutes. The final 4 stages are on the daunting tarmac roads of the Epint military ranges, where Clark continues to pull away from the Fiat. Beating even Mikola on the last stage, Brooks completes a climb through the field into 5th place. But the rally belongs to Hannu Mikola and Arne Hertz.
He's better on this.
He's obviously done this once or twice before. Give him a drink. And off goes Russell.
Russell Brooks leaves the Aviemore start of the Scottish Rally. Marco Elaine has come straight from the Acropolis Rally and starts the Scottish feeling very tired. Still struggling with the new Vauxhall engine specification, Jimmy McRae is obviously keen to do well on home ground. Clark is fighting for 2nd place behind the flying Mikola. Tony Pond finds the TR7 hard work in the bumpy Scottish forests.
That's what I was saying to you. What is it that what's doing it? Is the car kicking into a corner?
Yes.
It was, but it was the front end that was doing it then, and it's still doing it now. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, what happens? You turn into the corner and you feel the back sort of go.
The tired Elaine catches up on his sleep whilst the Fiat mechanics work. Leyland seem to have troubles of their own. Pond's TR7 refuses to start. Russell Brooks' chance of victory is gone when he drops to 13th position following a short excursion. Roger Clark has also been off, dropping him into 6th place.
It wasn't a particularly hairy crash. All we did was just slide sideways into a very muddy ditch. We couldn't get any traction to drive out and we were stuck there. There was no mechanical damage to the car whatsoever. And in fact, we weren't even more than a foot off the road.
As little as that?
Yes, that's all.
How did you get out?
We were incredibly fortunate. Andy Dawson in his Datsun has not had a particularly happy rally. And he stopped and towed us out to the cost of about 2 or 3 minutes to himself, which I think is very, very generous and very sporting.
Mikola now leads by a comfortable 8 seconds. Clark pulls back enough to finish 3rd, whilst Brooks climbs back to take 7th place. Having led from start to finish, Mikola wins the Scottish in impressive style. Hannu Mikola starts the Burma International with a new sponsor, Eaton's Yale Lift Trucks. With Markku Elaine away in Finland practicing for the Thousand Lakes Rally, the German ace Walter Roll gets a drive in the Works Fiat. The winner of this event last year, Mikola again sets the early pace. Fiat are using this event to test new twin compound Pirelli tyres, which they plan to use on the RAC rally. Works Vauxhall driver Chris Slater is back in an Escort for this event. Clark tackles the first of 3 tarmac stages in Glasgow's Bellahouston Park. Mikola makes a rare mistake on stage 9 and drops to 4th place. The new rally leader is Russell Brooks. As the rain continues to team down, the rally moves into the classic forests of Argyllshire. The young Australian driver Greg Carr is setting regular top 10 times on his first ever British rally. What did Hannah just say?
He reckoned that Britain was going to sink shortly with all this rain.
So what do you make of all this rain then, Hanu?
Oh, this is quite normal in this country.
So what sort of night have you had then, Roger?
Well, everything I possess is wet. It's been torrential the whole night. The forests are awash, and even with the narrowest tyres on we've got, there's still aquaplaning down the straights. Hard work.
As the two-day rally draws to a close, Mikola is catching the leaders. Walter Rall finds the new Pirellis less than satisfactory in the prevailing conditions, and his Fiat drops out of the battle for the lead. Clark's Dunlop seem better suited to the saturated forests, and he moves past the Fiat. Russell Brooks still leads the Burma. The last stage is just 4 miles long, and he starts it 13 seconds ahead of Mikola. Surprising most of the regular drivers, Greg Carr finishes in 6th place and takes the Man of the Rally award.
What's gone wrong?
Oh, when we had an ignition pack go, and it cost us 1 minute and 6 seconds to hand it.
What's that mean then?
Depends on whose addition of time you use, but either Hanu's won by a second, we won by a second, or as we think, it's a tie. And if it's a tie, Hanu wins on the tiebreaker.
So, Hanu, you've just been officially confirmed the winner. How do you feel?
Oh, I'm very surprised. I never thought that I'm so lucky person. You know, normally luck is not on my side, but it looks like this time it was. But I feel sorry for Russell. He had a very good run. He was driving very well.
As the championship moves to the Isle of Man for Britain's only Pace Note International, Russell Brooks is feeling the pressure.
Well, very, very tense at the moment. I do before any rally, but before this one especially so, because really this one is the critical one in the championship. If Hanu took a win on this, there's no way I could win the championship. If we could beat Hanu, then we'd be in with a very good chance indeed.
Hanu, you've had a wonderful run of success in British rallies recently. How do you feel about this one?
Looks like it's a normal weather again. It's raining, so we are quite used to it already.
The lead is immediately snatched by Hanu Mikola. Clark is fighting for 3rd place. Tony Pond holds a comfortable 2nd place. John Taylor also contests 3rd. Mikola continues to extend his lead. He's fastest on 6 of the first 9 stages. Russell Brooks' car continues to cause problems, putting him in 9th position. Clark is having a steady run and now lies 5th. Pond is the only driver who can live with Mikola, but the TR7 shows no signs of overhauling the leader. Taylor has engine problems which drop him to 4th as the crews head for Douglas at the end of the first leg. Pond's TR7 starts the 2nd loop. Clark has more experience on pace notes than any other British driver. With half the event gone, he still plays a waiting game. Pond is pursuing Mikola, but even 300 horsepower doesn't seem to be enough. Disaster for Ford. On the 2nd night stage, Mikola crashes.
Literally minutes ago you passed our camera in special stage 10 and here you are standing on Douglas Promenade with the lights in the background. What's happened?
We got a front wheel puncture and we went straight off the road.
Tony, when last night did you find out that Hanu was out?
When we actually saw him beside the road.
Right, and since then you've built up a quite incredible 2 minutes 23 seconds lead, which must make you almost unbeatable. What's going to be your policy today?
Well, I think we'll just go quite slowly on the rough stages and try and sort of quick on the open ones where the car's very good.
Clark is fastest on half a dozen of the final stages, but he seems to have left his move too late. Pond leads all the way to the finish. Clark finishes fourth to lead the Sedan Championship. Taylor drives brilliantly to take second. The organisers finally exclude Brooks for servicing his troubled Escort in a control area.
Well, Tony, you've done it. Congratulations. How do you feel?
Great. Fantastic since I came across that last finishing line. It's never over till you sort of coast over that bit.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go!
Bjorn Valdegaard, winner of the RAC Rally last year, leads the 168 competitors away from Birmingham to start the final round of the Sedan Championship. Shortcuts seem to be quite in order on the twisty tarmac roads of Bewdley Safari Park. This is typical of the spectator stages which make up the first day's rallying. Stig Blomqvist follows the accepted line in the Saab Turbo. Marco Elaine has chosen to drive a Stratos for this event. Mikkola follows the fast line too, but the tarmac is slippier than it looks. The early leader is Walter Rall, who finds traction on these stages no problem at all, thanks to the strategic location of his co-driver. Ari Vatanen is the first driver to stick to the official route. Pond follows the majority line, but finds 300 horsepower something of an embarrassment and almost copies Mikkola. The Chevette was designed specifically to win the RAC Rally, so Auricula is trying particularly hard. Despite the weather, over 40,000 spectators crowd into the now traditional stage in Birmingham's Sutton Park, where Valdegaard is first through the infamous Ford. Elaine takes over the lead in the manoeuvrable Stratos. He has no trouble at all with a Ford, unlike at least one of his fellow countrymen.
That's car number 6 is Arnie Vatanen. And he went straight on. He didn't read that at all well. Driver, and one would expect to do very
Auricula is fifth, with all the forests yet to come.
trying very hard indeed. He is capable of winning.
Clark leads the Sedan Championship and only needs a good finish on this event to win the title. He takes no risks on the first day.
Very consistent. I think by
Russell Brooks, joint second in the championship, is also up amongst the front runners and trying hard in front of his home crowd. John Taylor demonstrates his rallycross technique.
And then with the right track was the other moment there.
Do you remember the first stage this morning?
Yes.
What do you remember about that?
Oh Christ, I had an accident there 2 years ago and it was very slippery again.
I suppose that's something to do with the camels and the lions, isn't it?
Bjorn, what sort of day have you had?
Hasn't been too bad. Slippery.
Okay.
I start up with a spin in the first corner of the rally.
Roger, what sort of day have you had?
As you know, it's been wet and slippery, but nothing's gone wrong and I've enjoyed it.
Do you know where you're lying?
Oh, I haven't a clue. It's early days yet.
Day 2 brings the first forest stages, but Blomqvist is soon to retire. Elaine continues to lead. As they reach the longer forests, Mikkola makes his move. Pond has lost several minutes with jammed rear brakes and he's well down the field. Brooks has also suffered locked rear brakes, dropping him out of contention for the moment. Alain leads by over a minute, the nimble Stratos still proving unbeatable in the slippery conditions. Mikola starts setting the pace, however, and moves into second. Despite his own backseat driver, Rawl drops to third. The TR7 starts to climb through the field, and Pon promises to remove his brain for the night stages. Clark is still driving steadily, well inside the top 10. Voldegaard's car suffers several minor problems, and he can't keep up with Mikola. John Taylor's Escort is the only one fitted with fuel injection, and this is causing trouble. As Kielder approaches, Clark arrives for routine service. Auricola is now fourth, but his Chevette has problems.
Type M&S 195s and 5 gallons of fuel.
Voldegaard is having trouble with his brakes now. He calls in for a quick check.
Fading? First stage is fading, and I thought this was that I mean, I have brake, but you feel they are getting very, very hot. The smoke is like hell, you know. From the front? Yeah.
Well, do you want to leave them in?
Yeah.
Well, what about the balance? That's okay. So leave the pads as they are.
Or change the back for the and
well, if the balance is okay, you can have new pads in the back again then.
Then you got to burn that lot in.
Yeah.
But
I would leave them until next time.
Clark's only problem is a broken starter motor, which the Ford mechanics change rapidly.
Yeah. Where is it?
Pentti Auricola seems to be in some doubt about fitting an air filter for the long forests.
Yeah.
You keep the air cleaner on?
Yeah.
At the moment, yes?
Yeah.
The working conditions don't impress the Ford mechanics at all.
I don't want another job like that.
Clark sets out for the toughest section of the rally, 60 miles in Kielder Forest. Now the Ford team make their move. By the time they reach the Lake District, Hannu Mikola leads by over 7 minutes. Clark is now third, whilst Alain Stratos and the entire Vauxhall team have gone missing. Rawl is fourth, behind Clark. Most uncharacteristically, Bjorn Voldegaard has had an accident, but he still manages fastest time on this stage, and he holds second place. Brooks is back in the top 10 and having a terrific tussle with Tony Pond in the unwieldy TR7. He too moves up the order. Helping to organise Ford's complex service schedule is Graham Robson.
Whose clutch are you changing?
We're changing Roger's clutch purely as a routine operation because they get such a lot of hard work on this event that rather than have an enforced change, we've got about half an hour to spare at Newby Bridge and we're doing it there.
Into Wales for the final 2 days, and Mikola already looks a winner. His lead is still over 7 minutes, and the next 2 places are held by his own teammates. Voldegaard himself is 2 minutes clear of the third place man, but he can do nothing about Mikola. Pond is putting absolutely everything into his last ever TR7 drive. If he doesn't win, it won't be for want of trying. Brooks is now on his favourite stages, and he begins to close the gap on Rawl. Mikkola has no problems at all. His Escort requires only routine servicing throughout the final loop. Co-driver Arne Hertz can afford to be polite.
Good morning.
Next to arrive is Valdegaard. Brooks is still running, but Roger Clark appears to be missing.
Still maintaining your lead?
Yes, yes.
Any problems with the car?
No, not at all. It's gone very well.
Just taking nice and steady now?
Yes.
Yes, you're in third now.
Yes, we caught Walter all up on the long anti-hutch, Dave. In fact, we're quite pleased because we actually passed him on the stage, so we took the lead from him. And then he went off on the following stage, I gather, and lost about 15 minutes.
Trying to keep up with you?
Peter? I would like to think that, yes. We've not heard a lot about Tony Pond, but we gather from unofficial results that he's some way behind as well, so he must have had some problems.
Roger, you had some bad luck.
Right, so not in my year.
Well, what happened?
We had a clutch brake going through one of the stages, and we were driving without a clutch. And we came to a rather tricky corner and misjudged it and went off. But the problem, we got the car sorted out, and we tried to start and we had no clutch and we had no starter motor either, so we couldn't move the car.
When you say it hasn't been your year, you were leading the championship, so it's not been a bad year up to now.
Well, we were looking forward to doing one on the RAC.
Very bad luck.
Life.
The penultimate stage, and Mikkola is now sure of victory. With less than 5 miles to go, he leads by almost 6 minutes. Valdegaard is equally safe in second place, 6 minutes clear of his pursuers. Brooks really storms through the last stages to make it a 1-2-3 for Ford. Pond ends his Leyland career on a high note, with fourth. Last-minute engine problems dropped the unfortunate Rawl to sixth. His own problems finally solved, John Taylor finishes seventh. For the 7th year running, a Ford Escort wins the RAC Rally. For Ford, it's a particularly sweet victory. A major strike at the factory forces them to rely on dealers to prepare all their cars. In the end, it makes no difference at all. Hannu Mikkola and Arne Hertz get the champagne yet again. It's their 4th international rally win of 1978 and gives them the Sedan Open Rally Championship.
Peter Ashcroft